Does your accent matter in the IELTS speaking interview? Or if you are going to make a lot of mistakes with grammar, does it really matter how many mistakes you are going to make? Or if you speak with poor intonation, does that really impact your score in the IELTS speaking test? Today, I'm going to talk about 4 things that your English is tested on in the IELTS speaking interview. My name is Jimmy and welcome back. So, as you all know, IELTS speaking test is all about testing your English. So there are 4 things that you must know before you go for the exam. These 4 things are the things that your English will be tested on. So if you are preparing for IELTS, or if you would like to get a high score in IELTS speaking test, then you must learn about them. The first thing is your pronunciation. When you speak English, we expect you to have a standard pronunciation. You can't have a local or poor pronunciation, which means that we don't expect you to speak like American or like British or like Australian, but we would like you to have clear English, which means when you are talking to somebody, then you are able to express yourself and you're able to present good English without strange pronunciation. Also, as you speak, you have to focus on your intonation. Intonation means how you present the language in a nice way. So when I talk to some of my Chinese friends, sometimes I feel like their intonation is flat. So in English, you have to understand that there are words that you have to stress them when you speak. So you have to highlight certain words to improve the intonation, and that's very important in order to speak more natural English. So pronunciation is really important. So like I said, we don't expect you to speak like native, but at least you have to have a standard or global English that is easy to easy to be understood by the others, so it is not strange or weird when you speak. So pronunciation is one thing that you must focus on. So if you have any problem with the pronunciation, then I suggest you to work on this very hard, because if you have poor pronunciation, you are not going to get a high score in IELTS speaking test. The second thing you are tested on is your fluency and coherence. Fluency means how fast you speak English or how slow you speak English. Do you stop a lot when you speak? When you talk to somebody, sometimes they are slow speakers or they are fast speakers. Sometimes they stop a lot when they speak a word by word. So we don't want to see that. We'd like to see that you are speaking fluent English without being hesitant, without many stops when you speak. So you have to be fluent, not too fast and not too slow, and you have to express yourself fluently. So fluency is very important and you are tested on that. I have seen a lot of people in the test, sometimes they speak too slow and sometimes they stop a lot between phrases or words, and that's not good. You need to be fluent to express yourself fluently. So if I'm asking you a question like, oh, how often do you play football? If you say, I play football once a week, that's not fluent, that's not good. So you may say, well, I play football couple or twice a week. So this is called fluent. So you have to be fluent when you present your English in the IELTS speaking interview. The third thing that you are tested on is your grammar. You understand that grammar is important. You can't speak great English when you have poor grammar, when you make mistakes with the tense, or when you don't know how to use particular words or particular preposition. So you really have to use proper and standard grammar. Like sometimes when I ask a question, what did you do last weekend? Sometimes they answer, oh, last weekend I go shopping. So this is a mistake because we're talking about the past. So you have to use the past tense. So you have to focus on grammar and try to avoid making many mistakes with grammar when you present your English in the IELTS speaking interview. Because I have seen lots of people, they have real issues with grammar. So I understand in China that for Chinese language, there's no particular grammar. You could use the present and the past as the same. But in English, we have past, present, and future. So you have to focus on grammar and make sure that you don't make many grammar mistakes, because this will lower your score. So focus a lot on grammar. The last thing that you have to focus on is your words or vocab. The range of the vocab or the range of the words that you are going to use. I saw a lot of people will use the same words over and over and over, and that's not good. In the IELTS speaking interview, you have to vary the words that you are using. So if you are trying to express how much you like something, you can't say, oh, I like shopping and I like to go shopping with my friends, and I like to eat at different malls, and I like. So you keep repeating the same expression again and again and again, and that's not good. You have to try to use other words. And instead of saying you like something, you may say, I'm quite into, or I quite interested in, or I dig. So you always have to paraphrase and use other vocab. You cannot keep repeating the same word over and over and over. You always have to paraphrase and use other words in order to show the examiner that you have enough words to express yourself, and that's another thing that you are tested on. So, to summarize today's episode, I have talked about 4 things you are tested on. The first one is your grammar. You really have to make sure that you're not going to make a lot of grammar mistakes. The second thing is your fluency. How fast or how slow or how many times you stop when you speak. You have to be fluent when you present your English in the real IELTS speaking interview. The third thing is pronunciation. Like I mentioned, pronunciation is important. I'm not expecting you to speak like native speaker, but I want you to speak standard English that people can understand you when you speak to them. They can't say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What do you say? So when you speak standard English, no one is going to tell you that. So standard English is important, so you need to focus on grammar. And the last thing, as I mentioned, is the vocab. You have to use proper vocab, and you have to avoid repeating the same word again and again and again. These are the 4 things that your IELTS speaking interview will be about. So the IELTS examiner will test your English based on these 4 things. So if you are preparing for IELTS, then you have to focus on these 4 things as you prepare. Try to learn enough words that you can use to express yourself. Try to improve your pronunciation if you have any pronunciation problems. Also try to work more on grammar if you know that you have grammar issues. Also, if you do know that you have some sort of problem with the fluency, then it's good to work more on trying to practice. The more you practice, the more fluent you will become. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. We have a new topic to talk about. Let me know if you have any questions. Please leave your comment below this video and I'll get back to you. Talk to you next time.